Hi, good afternoon. My name is Rocio Reyes, and I'm going to present the television addiction. That is one of the process addiction. The most popular recreational pastime in the United States is television viewing. Some researchers have claimed that television may be addictive. According to Sussman and Moran 2013, television addiction is a proposed addiction model associated with maladaptive or compulsive behavior associated with watching television programming. The most recent medical review on this model concluded that pathological television watching behavior may constitute a true behavioral addiction. The compulsion can be extremely difficult to control in many cases. We provide a review of the definition, etiology, literature review, Christian perspective, and treatment of the apparent phenomenon of television addiction. What is a behavioral addiction? Several behaviors, besides psychoactive substances ingestion, produce short-term reward that may engender persistent behavior, despite knowledge of adverse consequences and diminished control over the behavior. These disorders have historically been conceptualized in several ways. One view posits these disorders as lying along an impulsive-compulsive spectrum, with some classified as impulse control disorders. An alternate, but not mutually exclusive, conceptualization considers the disorders as non-substance or behavioral addictions. What is a process addiction? A process addiction is a compulsive behavior such as compulsive gambling, sexual addiction, eating disorders, and spending addictions. As defined by facts.org, it is a condition in which a person is dependent on some type of behavior, such as gambling, shopping, or sexual activity. This term is often used as a blanket for any behavioral addiction which does not involve an addictive chemical. This is ironic, as there are actual chemical processes which occurs during the behavior, which are very similar to the chemical changes which take place during substance abuse. Any hobby can become an addiction. When a habit or hobby becomes an addiction, a process addiction is characterized by, first, an obsessive need to be involved with the activity or planning the activity, neglecting responsibilities in favor of doing the behavior, showing up late to work due to gambling late the night before, etc. Your behavior is interfering with your relationships, such as infidelity, neglect of children, or change in friendship. Legal trouble, such as illegal gambling, prostitution, or breaking laws in order to engage in your behavior of choice. You feel as if you do not have control over whether or not you participate in the activity. Contributing psychological factors for TV addiction. Process addictions are an often overlooked addiction. They are often overshadowed by substance addictions. This is unfortunate as the suffering, loss of life and family, and debilitating consequences are no less. Process addictions require psychological treatment to be overcome. Even though process addiction is often coupled with drug addiction, each addiction needs to be tackled in order for a full recovery to take place. The reason that these addictions are often overlooked lies in a combination of shame, guilt, and lack of understanding. This addictive process is complex and has several influencing factors. An individual's mental state, genetics, social status, and past experiences all influence the addict on the timeline of the eradication. Psychological results that explain the etiological maintenance of the disorder. In a study, John McRate in 1998, 24 of 237 adults surveyed agreed with the statement, "I'm addicted to television." Compared with the rest of the sample, self-labeled TV addicts were more neurotic, introverted, and easily bored. They more often used TV to distract themselves, unpleasant thoughts, regulate moods, and fill time. Contributing biological factor for TV addiction. It is somewhat easy to comprehend the chemical addiction of a person who abuses substances, while the strong psychological compulsion of the process addict are often ignored. It is not as simple as just stopping or willpower. There are real chemical and biological changes which occur in the brain of someone who has process addiction. According to Sussman and Moran, it is well known both for substances and process addiction that a person's reward center in the brain is stimulated, causing release of chemicals into the body and brain which drive addictive behaviors. Put simply, this chemical charge feels good. So the addict keeps chasing the high, whether it be the up and down roller coaster of gambling or the highs of lows or cocaine addiction. Most people enjoy this type of natural high in one way or another. Many people gamble for fun or push their sports car on the freeway. Often we enjoy very large meals or go on a little spending spree when we get a nice bonus of work. This is how it can begin for the process addict. However, for unknown reasons, some individuals keep doing the same feel-good behavior over and over. This can have very damaging consequences. Biological studies that explain the etiology and maintenance of the disorder. In an effort to discover a mean of empirical distinction between normal and problem television viewing, two reliable measures of television addiction were created by writing items to reflect established criteria used in psychiatry for the detection of substance dependence. One measure contains four factors measuring distinct components of addictive behavior: behavior viewing, problem viewing, craving for viewing TV, and withdrawal. Supporting construct validity, these factors were positively related to an alcoholism screening instrument adapted to television use and to television exposure. In a study done by Kabi and Suri in 2012, psychologists and psychiatrists formally defined substance dependence as a disorder characterized by criteria that include spending a great deal of time using electronics. The EEG studies similarly show less mental stimulation, as measured by alpha brainwave production during TV viewing than during reading. What is more surprising is that the sense of relaxation ends when the set is turned off, by the feelings of passivity and lowered alertness continue. Survey participants commonly reflect that television has somehow absorbed or sucked out their energy, leaving them depleted. They say they have more difficulty concentrating after viewing than before. In contrast, they rarely indicate such difficulty after reading. Excessive craving do not necessarily involve physical substances, and TV viewing is one of them. Treatment. Whatever the addiction or compulsion is, treatment is often necessary to completely abstain. Treatment methods vary, but the most effective include identification and cessation of the behavior with a strong and long-term commitment to keep it stopped. This long-term commitment is the stumbling block. It can be difficult and include long-term therapies, medication, and other techniques necessary. Treatment models and success vary, but the most important step is to have a sincere desire to stop the behavior. Nothing can be completed without a crucial first step. Ways to integrate a Christian understanding of the process of recovery in the addiction. As a Christian believer, I think there is a power greater than our strengths that can guide us as a future therapist and also can make a difference in the patient's healing process. Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28. Christians and non-Christians are in a battle with addiction and behavior that are threatening their physical, emotional, and psychological health. Therapy, faith, and an active spiritual life could change their life. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. In Isaiah 42:10. With him, anybody can achieve their dreams, sanity, and sobriety. Conclusion. The TB addiction is currently destroying a normal society that is not aware of this phenomenon. As future clinical therapists, we need to be prepared to treat all kinds of compulsive behavior, including process addictions that are similarly dangerous and catastrophic for those under the power of this behavioral addiction. References. Again, this is Rocio Reyes. Thank you.